Welcome to the Cincy Postcast. I'm Kevin Wallace. And before we get started with today's episode, I want to tell you about our great friends over at Streetside Brewery, my favorite brewery in the city of Cincinnati. It is a place where I have gone to meet friends tons and tons of times. It's a beautiful location over in the Columbia-Tusculum area of Cincinnati. It is a lovely, lovely spot, incredibly friendly staff. It has been a fantastic place to take in World Cup matches. If you haven't been doing that, you've been missing out. Lovely, lovely spot there. And the patio has been open. They've got games on out there as well. They're always doing different community events, special releases. They've got a huge variety of beer. They're doing cocktails. They've got now non-alcoholic options. It is the full service of everything you would want from a local neighborhood brewery. Absolutely love them. They also have them for sale around the city. Go look for the beautiful 4 and 6 packs of their cans. Some amazing artwork out there. Okay. So huge thank you to Streetside for sponsoring this episode. Thank you for checking them out. And on today's episode, we are talking a little FC Cincinnati because guess what? They got a game coming up this Friday. Bet you didn't know that. Bet you didn't know that. They do. And tickets are for sale if you wanted to buy some because they got a lot of seats available for that game. But it should be a fun one. They bring Burnley into town, so that'll be a good time. Maybe you'll see Kirk Herbstreit and JJ Watt there. I don't know. Maybe that'll happen. Should be a good time. We also talk U.S. men's national team. Okay, this is kind of a funky little setup here because for the postcast we recorded, or I guess for the podcast here, we recorded 3 segments of the podcast. The first one is FCC. The second one's U.S. men's national team. The third one is World Cup. Parts 1 and 2 are available to you right here on the postcast. Parts 2 and 3 are going to be available on the World's Gam feed. That is our MLS feed. Typically it's MLS. During the World Cup, it has basically become our World Cup feed. So we got you covered. Okay, we got all of the soccer coverage you need, all the soccer coverage you want before this huge game against Burnley and Belgium. I guess there's a huge game against Belgium as well. We'll deal with that as well. Enjoy this fine, fine episode of the Cincy Postcast. Joining me to talk about all of that and more, I am joined by the one and only Chief. Chief.
Sir.
It is insane to think that FC Cincinnati will play a match this week at time of recording.
Yeah. Yeah, it just sort of snuck up on us, didn't it? The long mid-season, off-season is kind of somewhat over.
Yeah, we're getting
not
there.
Really. Yeah, not really. I don't know. Yeah, look, big friendly. Can you call any friendly big? I liked also that we're starting to steer away from calling them friendlies. Like Pochettino really doesn't like that with the national team.
Yeah.
There's a couple of writers that have come out against the concept of a friendly tune-up.
Sure.
An
exhibition
as opposed to a friendly.
An angry. We're just going to get together and have an angry. It's
have
a shame.
Angry.
What is it? Georgia Tech, the good old-fashioned hate.
Yeah.
Sort of the same idea.
Or if you want to say with the college football references, just go get drunk and make it the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
That works as well.
That works as well. Yeah. Tickets available, and apparently lots of tickets available. So go and buy. Take a friend. Anyone that you know that's been really into soccer after the World Cup. That's maybe, you're watching the game on Monday for the national team and they're like, man, I really like this soccer thing. It's like, boy, do I have an opportunity for you to pick any seat you want at TQL Stadium to take a gander. Take a friend. Do that. Make that your thing. Take a couple friends and introduce them to live soccer downtown at TQL Stadium.
Yeah, I think this is absolutely the moment where sort of the rubber can meet the road for the newly converted, the newly, peaked, as it were, and actually get an opportunity to see this live and in person. And yes, of course, it's not the World Cup, but I think people will be impressed still by the speed of the game, the footwork in person. It is a different experience.
Also, somebody pointed this out online. Like, everyone, and we'll talk about this on the World's Game. You'll hear all about this, but like, everyone fell in love with Cape Verde, right? Like, their transfer market value is less than FC Cincinnati for all their players. Like, FC Cincinnati is by most metrics a better team than Cape Verde, like more talented at the sport of soccer. So like, if you watch that Cape Verde Argentina match, you're like, man, I would love to see soccer played at this level. It's like, well, man, come on down on to see FCC versus Burnley on Friday. You will see soccer played at that level in person. You can have a beer while you're watching it. I promise you, and I know we're preaching to the converted right here if you're listening to this show, but like, the sport is so much better in person. It's a good watch on television. It is a phenomenal live experience. It's like hockey in that regard. You will never appreciate the sport as much as you do when you're in person watching it and you're in the moment. You can see the entire field. You hear the crowd, you feel the energy. It is a better product live. And if all these people are getting hooked on the sport, watching it on television, man, are you going to be blown away when you actually go to a game.
Yeah, especially an MLS game where the in-stadium experience is just so much better than what most people will find in any of the other sports that they're used to. Like, the closest example you can think of is some college sports some teams have a pretty good student section. Like, that's it. Like, most of the time, like, the student sections are largely dead in football, I would say. And in basketball, it's like a reserve spot for 20 kids behind the basket. They're not interested in keeping, 10,000 students being able to walk in there for free. And, you get your supporter sections. And yes, obviously the Bailey is a highlight among them. But like, I promise you, going to, I don't know, a Chicago Fire game is going to feel different than going to a Cubs game or going to a White Sox game. So I think people will enjoy it. Yeah.
And stop this. I'm all for now. We just shame people that say they don't support MLS, that you're just like an overseas soccer fan. It's like, you don't like the sport then. Like, let's be honest here.
Here's the problem with that. You're going to get people that do this dumb thing where they're like, I don't know, like boardroom crusaders. Like, they care deeply about the legal documentation that the sport that the team is playing for is like built, and they're worried about shareholder voting rights and Class C shares. And like, no, guy, it doesn't matter if it's an MLS team or a Premier League team, because let me tell you, Fenway Sports Group owning Liverpool is kind of exactly the same as FC Cincinnati being in an MLS squad. And oh, by the way, a handful of these big, prestigious, they're local clubs. They're sold on the stock exchange. You can go buy some shares of Chelsea and Man United if you want right now on the stock exchange. Please tell me, what is more the people than being a publicly traded corporation?
Yeah, you can buy it on Ameritrade or like your Robinhood app. It's in your portfolio right next to GameStop still. Yes. Keep holding. Yes. Keep holding, Crusaders.
We're gonna get them eventually.
We're to the moon, all of us.
So, and I love the promotion relegation argument, but we could go for days and days on this.
We'll save that for another time. With FC Cincinnati playing against Burnley this Friday, we have heard no news regarding any new incoming players. They wouldn't be eligible to play anyway. The window isn't open yet. The window will not open, I think, for another week or two.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it opens before we come back to play on July 22nd. But I don't believe the window is open yet. You might need to fact
17th feels right, but yeah.
Fact check me on that one. But like, I don't think it's open yet. So we wouldn't expect to see anyone. Kev, I'm of the mind that I know there's this thing going around in the zeitgeist with FC Cincinnati supporters of being worried that we haven't heard anything about this team, but also like, all the attention is focused on the World Cup. Anyone who's anyone in soccer media is over here watching the tournament. Like,
yes.
there aren't a lot of people that are really clued in desperately to, especially the level of player you'd be talking about a team like FC Cincinnati acquiring with whatever GAM or TAM they have available, or whatever spot they open on the senior roster, because they don't have any DP spots. We know that. We've talked about that ad infinitum. Yeah. But like, you're talking about bringing in an acquisition at best the level of and there's no shade to these players, Pavel Buka or Brian Ramirez, and Fabrizio Romano is not like monitoring the transfer market for news of those players moving about.
Yeah, and the folks who are going to be breaking that news, and by folks I mean I think Tom Bogert, he's on the World Cup beat. Okay,
yeah,
you will get the occasional finalized deal, which he has done from here and there, but you don't see him tweeting like the intense rumors about the backup right back spot for Sporting Kansas City, right? Like that's not the minutia of the transfer
that's not drawing clicks right now.
No,
that's not everyone's tuning in for U.S. men's national team stuff. Even hardcore supporters of all these MLS clubs, they're more likely to click on a story about how Mauricio Pochettino learned to throw a baseball than here is this target for, Portland Timbers this summer. They're following where the money is right now.
Exactly. We've seen it here locally with Cincy Soccer Talk. I got the opportunity to cover a couple of these games. They were credentialed, it looked like, by at a couple of these games. It's got nothing to do with FC Cincinnati. They're doing that. And like you mentioned, a lot of the Seattle guys I've been following, they've been following the games in Seattle, including the U.S. men's national team game in Seattle. So, yeah, they're a little distracted right now. And, yeah, like you said, you're not going for the DPs. For the big ones, like how does Fabrizio Romano get the inside scoop on Lewandowski? Lewandowski's agent pays for those. Like those guys literally pay to have these, dropped.
There's all sorts of reporting out there about how Fabrizio Romano just takes money. Like the news you want dropped, it comes with a price from him. Like, and he will be shameless. And people have posted screenshots about, I'll get this out to people for $2,000 or $5,000 or whatever it is. And that's how he maintains, because agents like getting the news out that their players made a lot of money, or their players are on the move, or their players are seeking other opportunities. Yep. And he is more than happy to leverage the enormous audience he has accumulated to do that. So, the type of player that we're talking about is not paying him to get on with all this stuff,
Yeah. Now, I do think it is very foolish if people start going down the road of, they're wasting the summer. They're not going to do anything. This is a blown opportunity. You don't get to be mad at the window until the window closes. And we have seen this team and Chris Albright time and time again take it to the last second before making a deal done. He's known to wait out these teams and to really push them for their best offers. So I'm not concerned in the slightest. They've gotten burned a few times, don't get me wrong, but the work does tend to speak for itself. Like in general, this is a good, well-run club, higher end of the table than not. So I don't know. I'm not panicking. Are you panicking? Where's your panic level on the lack of news?
2, 1. I'm not worried about it. I'm genuinely not worried about any of this stuff. Usually the team I'm more worried when I'm hearing a lot about what the team is doing.
Yeah.
Because we tend to miss out when we hear publicly about a lot of stuff. Like, we heard a lot of stuff about Weston McKennie. Weston McKennie is no close. He is the closest he has come to Cincinnati is the West Coast of America, where the U.S. national team is playing and training right now.
Yeah.
We heard a lot about Josh Sargent. Josh Sargent is a Toronto FC player. We heard a lot about Neymar.
Yeah.
Neymar this, Neymar that. Neymar is no longer on the FC Cincinnati radar. We didn't hear a lot about before he showed up, Kevin Denke. Yeah. Didn't hear a lot about Evander until all of a sudden we had a number 10 that was wide open, and that deal came together. Albright, you don't hear a lot about what's going on before it goes on. Yeah. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But he plays things pretty close to the vest, and I'm, not for nothing. You're going to have to also see, I think, before we see any moves on this team, which is what I'm interested in about this Burnley match, like legitimately.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to see some moves of players going out, I think, before you see major additions. I know the team says they have resources to make changes and they have GAM and they have whatever. We'll see. But it's going to be very interesting to me to see if Matt Miazga plays in this game, if Teenage Hadebi plays in this game, Bayub Jabari plays in this game. There are a lot of guys where you're like, okay, we've targeted them for whatever reason in like what we do in our space to say this seems like the type of player they would be looking to move on from. And if they're getting minutes in this Burnley game, I don't know. Maybe it means something, maybe it means nothing. But if they don't play in this game, maybe they're looking for a way to move on from a couple of these players, hoping that they can find transfer homes and recoup something versus having to use a buyout.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. And honestly, in terms of like what you're really looking for in this Burnley game, I mean, the biggest thing is just like guys getting some time playing together. It should be a fun time. I don't think it's going to be, a terribly serious affair, but I do think it'll be interesting to see like if there is a sort of a team or ideal starting 11 that goes out there to start, who's in it. We may get something. They may not even do that. We may get like a mixed starting lineup to start and just constantly subbing throughout, and that's fine. But if they do sort of put forward a first choice lineup, I'd be curious to see who's on it and exactly who doesn't play. So, who's maybe holding off, waiting for a medical to move somewhere else, and then who ends up spending the bulk of the time on the field. I think that'll be interesting as well. If it's, the opportunity to have Buka go 75 minutes, I think that'll be an interesting note. If Ramirez barely sees the field, that'll be an interesting note. Yeah. But it's going to be hard to read too much into this. I would agree with you. I mean,
it's going to be hard, or it might not be. Like, they've had, almost a month and change off, month and a half off.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they roll out for this game and they're playing a back four. You're going to read a lot into what the hell's going on over the next couple of weeks, I think.
I kind of forgot to even look for that. Yeah, that would be a big tell as to whether or not there may be a transition. Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? You buy your ticket to the Burnley game, you may get a free preview of something new that Albright and the boys have been working up in the lab. Because I would hope that they've got some new stuff cooking. Maybe not a formation change, but that they've used this opportunity to self scout a little bit, review the tape, see what they can do better, see what they can do differently. I mean, it'll even be interesting to see if Pavel is playing the wing back, if that's still a thing. I don't know. There's a lot going on, and I'm not going to be able to be there. Unfortunately, my vacation coincided before this match got announced, but I'm going to be very interested to see the reports coming out of this game to just have a better sense of what we're looking at with this team for the next 4 months. It's going to be a sprint to the end. And
a sprint to the sprint season.
Which is why also, not for nothing, like if they're going to make a big change to what they're doing with this team, this is the moment to do it. Because you're not going to have a big offseason ahead of the sprint schedule. The sprint schedule is going to be a lot of just, we got to survive this until we get our first proper offseason coming up next summer. So I tend to think that what you see coming out of this window is what the team's going to look like for not just this season, but also for that sprint season coming up in the springtime.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. Chief, you mentioned your ticket situation. I'm not going to lie. I am Burnley curious. I am interested in going to the friendly. However, I don't know if you noticed the scheduling on this. It is a Friday at 7:30. There's the chance, there's the possibility that the United States men's national team may have a quarterfinal matchup at 3 p.m. earlier that day. I move the challenge to FCC. The ball is in your court. If things go right on Monday, sell me a reason to go to the Burnley friendly that incorporates the U.S. men's national team game, ideally on Friday. If if there's a way to open up some of the club sections, if we put the game up on the big screen, I don't know what it is, right? We can get creative. There's televisions all throughout that thing. You could roll out a rented screen. I've been to Factory 52 for a couple of these games. I know they rent video boards. Could you roll one out in the middle of the field and have that go for an hour on a couple of tires on some, protective layers to keep the grass safe? I don't know. I think you could do something though.
There's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand not wanting to talk about it until it actually happens. I get that as a lifelong sports fan. Yeah. If it's me, and again, it's not my money. Like I'm not going to, I have no shame. I have no problem spending somebody else's money. But if it's me, I'm opening up TQL Stadium for this match. I'm going to open it up at 2:00. What I'm going to do during that time period is I'm going to say, hey, drinks are half price or whatever it is. So we're going to be priced competitively with going out to like a bar to watch the game. We're going to have all the club areas open. It's going to be an opportunity for people to, hey, if you never go down to the First Financial Club or you never go to the Cincinnati Club, go check out one of the clubs. Maybe you'll sell a ticket or two for the upcoming season. Yeah. But go to the clubs, watch the game. If you want to sit out in your seats and watch the game, if the weather is nice, we'll have it on the big screen on the Jumbotron. You can sit and watch there. I do some fun stuff too. They do that warehouse merch sale a lot of the time where they've got leftover merch. I'd bring that out on the concourse and have like the ability for people to, buy leftover merch or merch at discount. Get yourself kitted up and geared up for the stretch run. Have the team shop open. I'd have players signing autographs throughout the process. I would make it like a mini FC Cincinnati U.S. men's national team fan fest. And if a couple of people end up like hanging out in the club that shouldn't be there, who gives a shit? It's a friendly. Like let's not get too carried away with where people are and where people aren't for this game. But get people down there, get people watching the game, get people excited. I don't know. It feels like there is an opportunity to make this into a thing for the city, for soccer, for FC Cincinnati, and sell a bunch of tickets to the Burnley match in the process.
I know it's possible because I've seen like minor league baseball teams are doing World Cup watch parties in their outfield and stuff like that. And I only bring that up because occasionally the Bengals try this move where they go, well, it's a broadcasting license issue. We're not allowed to watch TV in our stadium. Okay, well, if the Coney Island Cyclones or whatever, the Billy Goats out there in Long Island are able to do it, then I think we should be able to do it too. Figure it out, okay?
Right.
Like, let's do this.
You can just do things, as Grayson is so famous for saying. You can just do things. And there's a lot of things in life where sometimes it's better to beg forgiveness than ask permission.
Yeah. Oops, we accidentally gained 8,000 extra fans that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
Right. U.S. Soccer is going to retweet all this stuff anyway, so that when FIFA comes after you, you're like, hey, help us out here with this. All right. Like we're trying to grow the game here a little bit.
Oh, the stadium pop video of Miles Robinson subbing into the game to see out the win from TQL Stadium.
Get some red, white, and blue fireworks ready to go for if they win this game. I think they play Spain, so that would be quite the thing if that ends up happening.
I will say I'll even extend an olive branch. I'll let you do a marketing sponsorship activation during halftime. Okay. Whatever corporate sponsor you want, they've got 15 minutes at halftime. to
Right.
do something at midfield. Let them do it, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, this MLS, this U.S. men's national team watch party brought to you by Raytheon.
That's fine. Let's see
Fine,
the
yeah,
latest,
whatever.
sound deadening technology that fries people's brains or whatever.
That's right. Why do I have a headache?
So we got that going on. In fact, Chief, I think we head on over to part 2, and I think we talk about this U.S. men's national team.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Today's episode of the Cincy Postcast is also brought to you by E&L Roofing. Look, I get it. Hearing the words new roof can cause your stress levels to elevate. But when you need a new roof, the folks at E&L Roofing can help make that process easier. Since 2009, they've been serving the greater Cincinnati area and helping to keep everyone safe, dry, and covered, no matter what life brings you. It's springtime storm season, and it's a great time to get your roof checked out. Me, I had the folks from E&L out at my place recently for some work. Honestly, could not have been happier with the result. Even caused my mother-in-law to say, picked out a nice color on that. You know what? It's a win in my book. Plus, if you need siding and gutter work done, they've got you covered there too. And as a special value for our listeners, mention the Cincy Postcast when scheduling your inspection for up to 20% off a replacement roof, replacement siding, or replacement gutters. You can find them on the web and schedule your free inspection at elroofing.com or L Roofing if you're listening to this on Cinco de Mayo. elroofing.com. E&L Roofing, keeping you covered, even if the back three for FC Cincinnati doesn't always.
And we're just jumping right into it, Chief. I'm not even screwing around with any intros. Sound the alarm. We did it. The FIFA Peace Prize winner has come through for us once again. Florian Balogun's red card suspension, not the red card itself, but the suspension has been lifted. This news came down. I'm looking at the Athletic article was posted at 1:55 p.m. I know some sports media personalities had this a little earlier.
Is this not the most hold on? Is this not the most American story of all time? Like I was texting with a mutual friend of ours, and I was asking this question to them. I'm going to pose the backstory here a little bit. That I have this belief, and I don't think that's a hot take, that Monday is the biggest moment in the history of soccer as a sport in America.
You're probably right.
Every other sport you can think of has had that moment in the past. And you can think, and you can debate, and it would be a good bar debate as to, when was the biggest moment in the history of pro football or pro hockey or pro baseball? When was that moment? Whatever it was for all these sports, it was in the past.
Yeah. Soccer
is the one that's got, this is going to be it. And what goes along with that is this idea of when will the United States become a soccer nation? When will we become a soccer country? When will that happen? And I kind of have a time and date for when that happened now.
Okay.
I think that you can now state this, and it is at 10:23 a.m. on today, the 5th of July, 2020, year of our Lord 2026, when the news of Florian Balogun's suspension being lifted by FIFA was broken by Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports. Bookmark this tweet. Davey Pitch's football sources are saying a certain red card may soon be overturned.
Man.
That's it. We've made it as a soccer country. That we're here. It's over, Johnny. We are firmly in this when you have someone like Dave Portnoy reporting on a decision that, look, we're in the trust tree here. We're all friends. A mildly corrupt FIFA decision to benefit us as a host country of the World Cup. We've made it. This is our moment. Congratulations to everyone out there who is a soccer fan that has spent years evangelizing for the game or being the one guy in your friend group that's actually, you should come and watch a game. It's The action is never stopping. There's no commercial. Like, if you've been that guy and you've been waiting for the rest of the country to catch up to you, today is for you. This morning was for you.
Chief, I think this is so right on so many levels. So, I mean, one, obviously, the have we made it as a soccer country? Yeah, we are playing the soccer corruption game, front and center. Okay, we've flirted with it, and I actually made this joke earlier. This was, honest to God, this was the long game of Chuck Blazer. This was his legacy.
Here's
this
to
is
you
his
and
moment.
your cat, Chuck. Here's to you, baby.
Not only did Chuck Blazer have so much ill-gotten money that he had a special apartment just for his cats. Chief, think back. Where did he have that second apartment for his cats?
Trump Tower, baby.
Trump Tower.
FIFA prize winning Trump Tower.
A lot of chickens are coming home to roost right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but I am a big connect the dots guy. There are a lot of dots with a lot of lines pointing to them today.
Yeah. So on that front, well done. The French have had their say. Jack Warner has had his say. There's been plenty of opportunities for corruption. The Middle East certainly has gotten in on this recently.
Yeah. Your boy Cristiano Ronaldo, he was the beneficiary of a little bit of light corruption at the start of this tournament. Yeah.
The exact same mechanism allowed him to play in this World Cup. A lot of folks don't realize he had a pretty vicious red card, a flagrant foul, if this were the NBA, a wild elbow that got him suspended for 3 games. And that suspension was also suspended so that he could play in these group stage games. Now, if Ronaldo were to get a red card, I think he might be past the probationary period. But basically, if he had gotten another red card in the group stage or in that first knockout game, he would have then faced a 4-game suspension. Like he was sort of on parole, as it were, with the punishment. And that is true with Balogun here. But to your point, the fact that it's Dave Portnoy, and plenty of people are going to have plenty of thoughts and feelings on Portnoy. You're probably right about all of them. But the thing is, 20 years ago, Portnoy is the number one soccer hater in America. Not that he literally was, just that the person in his position, the sort of shock jock personality of sports world, pushing the envelope type guy, that guy hated soccer and made mocking it his personality. Who would have been the equivalent? I think Jim Rome, maybe, or somebody like that.
The closest I would come is probably like some combination of Jim Rome and Howard Stern from Total Reach.
Don't forget, Rush Limbaugh had his stint as a sports commentator in the radio space. So
also a noted soccer hater. Rush
Limbaugh. Yes.
Common thread here.
Yes. So, the fact that it's Portnoy, like, not mocking the decision, not, flippantly posting this out like, oh, I came across this, I guess some nerds are going to like this, like, hyping it up, like building it up and things like that. Like, that is a moment where the sports mainstream and the soccer mainstream are the same thing. And that is what making it looks like, folks. I hate to tell you, but the counterculture era of soccer may have just died this morning.
Which, you know what? Good.
Yeah.
Good. Like, it served its purpose. The soccer as a counterculture thing served its purpose. But it was reaching a point, and we can probably dedicate an entire episode to this after the World Cup is over. We probably should, just because of the other portion of the discourse this week was a lot of, reasons I won't support MLS, even though I am excited that soccer is catching on with the general public in America. And here are my top 10 reasons why I will not watch a club local to me. I would rather get up in the morning and watch a club that I have no connection with, whose fans would probably think I'm a weirdo because I don't watch my local club that I support their club.
Yes.
But this is the era of the, hey, this is our thing, you can't be a part of this thing, needed to go away in soccer a long time ago. They call it gatekeeping. I think it's something more than that when it comes to the soccer space. But It's over, Johnny. It's not yours. It's not yours anymore. It belongs to all of us, for good and bad. It belongs to the best person you loved on social media who is now excited about soccer for the first time in their life. And it belongs to Dave Portnoy. And it belongs to everyone in between. And that is unquestionably good for the future of this sport, for the future of MLS, for the future of the national team. And, step 2 is keeping this going when it isn't just the World Cup, and keeping this sort of attention and translating this to some degree from breaking news about national team players to also, showing up for a Revs game, or, not belittling the fact that we have a growing and increasingly quality national league here in this country that is producing a lot of the same players a lot of the players you're watching in the World Cup. That is producing players for other national teams, where other national teams are playing and sending their players here to play. And guys that are starting for the U.S. men's national team ply their trade in MLS. And so this is a good thing. We can worry about step 2 later.
Yeah.
But for right now, today was a fun day for that regard.
Yeah. There's, and you're right to point this out. There's really sort of 2 stages to this, which is like soccer breaks into the mainstream and Major League Soccer breaks into the mainstream. And they are 2 very different things. And soccer was always going to have to come first before Major League Soccer. There was never a point, I don't think, where Major League Soccer was just going to break into the American sports consciousness and just leave the rest of soccer behind. And I think that is what we are seeing today, which is...
I'm actually curious what that would look like.
I think, and this is where I think they were trying to, I think it's that the league would have had so many rules innovations that it couldn't realistically be connected to the rest of the world of soccer, but was still a compelling sports entertainment product.
Right.
Where running penalty kicks, timeouts, things of that nature.
Instead of throw-ins.
Yeah, I think you could have maybe. It probably looks more like TST than like the Premier League, but regardless, I think there's a world where soccer is certainly at a point where the sport it has entered or is about to enter that mainstream. Now, where do people go to engage soccer, right? Like American football has dominated the American sports ecosystem for many, many years now, but people get it in a couple of different ways. College football and the NFL being the primary avenues there, but those are different things. A Mac fan is a different thing than a Giants fan in the NFL. Like these are different entities. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where these soccer folks go. Do they follow U.S. men's national team players at their clubs? Do they follow, the favorite players that they've seen at these other teams? Ideally, they support their local clubs. That makes the most sense. Yeah. But Chief, it all builds to this moment, Monday night, where Florian Balogun will be available. And let me just say, it was nonsense he got a red card. I didn't hear anybody argue that it should have been a red card unless they were also arguing.
Well, importantly, I didn't hear a lot of former players think it was a red card. And I trust those opinions way more than your average fan or your social media personality or your commentariat online. But virtually to a person, every former player that was like watching this and commented was no, not a red, no intent. Everything looks awful when you put it in slow motion. Bad decision. So
on that front, like just on the face of that, I'm fine. Balogun should have been in this game. And people have talked about, the creation of something like an orange card, right? Where maybe you are sent off for the rest of this game, but you're not suspended for future games or something like that. And that's kind of functionally what we got here. And now the United States will get to put its best foot forward against Belgium.
So I was thinking about this, actually. Is there a world where he doesn't start, even though he's available? Because I thought about this, that the national team has been operating under the assumption since the Bosnia match ended that they will not have Balogun available for this Belgium match. and they have presumably trained and tactically adjusted to play without him. And now on match day -1 in the early afternoon, early morning, they find out that he's back. And is it as simple? And I haven't seen a lot of former players or people that I would trust weighing in on this. Is it as simple as you just drop him back, you throw the playbook out for everything that you'd been doing, training and preparing for Belgium, and it's okay, well, we don't have to do that anymore. We've got Balogun here. Or are you doing yourself a disservice because you may have been asking players to do different things, and you may have had players preparing for different roles?
Yeah.
Maybe, you're asking Christian Pulisic to play a little more advanced, or you're asking Weston McKennie to play a little more advanced, or you're doing different things with your midfield in order to compensate for that. I don't know. Or is that overthinking it? Just put your best 11 out there and tell them roll the ball out. I don't know the answer to that question.
It's probably overthinking it. I guess it also depends on what sort of tactical wrinkle they were cooking up. If it was as simple as, well, we'll just throw Ricardo Pepi up there or Haji Wright or somebody, and we'll just see what happens, then nothing really changes. You just go, oh, we'll put Balogun up there. That's great. If the plan was, okay, we'll actually roll out much the same shape, but Pulisic will move centrally up top, and we'll put in Gio Reyna, Seb Berhalter, insert player here out left, and then Pulisic can sort of play false 9, and we'll let's say Reyna have more freedom to cut in. Then I think you just go, well, Pulisic, you do whatever we were about to tell Reyna to do, and Balogun, you get back up there and do what you're going to do. I don't think there's a version where you wouldn't rather have Balogun on the field regardless. Now, maybe there's a situation where partway through the game, they decide to roll out this other look that they had been drilling, and maybe you do sub out Balogun for a Reyna, let's say, you try a completely different shape up top. I don't know. But I think you're overthinking it. I would just go best 11. It hasn't been broken yet. Let's keep going.
Right. So, I mean, he's in incredible form.
Yeah.
He's already a good player, but he's a good player that is playing at about peak performance right now in this tournament. So I tend to agree that you put him out there and you just, whatever you've been working on for the last couple of weeks, if it's different, just bin it and say, hey, we have a day to adjust to this, and we spent today in meetings, and we spent today in, tactical adjustments. These players are all very talented, play at very high level. If you can't figure this out in a day, then that's probably a bigger problem than anything else. He looked really good in the Bosnia match before he went out too.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a chance to talk about that because it happened on the same day that we record usually. And Kevin, you and I actually went and caught this game together at a local watering hole.
Yes.
It's interesting to me that how boring that game was, in the best way, where it was the United States, they did what they set out to do. They defended well. They created attacking opportunities. They break through with a goal. And then when they go down a man, they push and they get a second goal. And at no point in that game did it feel like Bosnia had any chance of winning. And that is such a wild change from how this team has been my entire adult lifetime. And to me, of all the things this team has done in this tournament, even beating Paraguay, which it turns out
hard to do,
was probably a pretty damn impressive thing to score that many goals and make them look bad. The Bosnia match to me is, until it hopefully gets broken tomorrow, high watermark for soccer in the history of this national team, as far as I'm concerned. Am I overreacting on that?
No, I mean, this is, I said it before that game, and I'm tempted to say it again here at this, ahead of this Belgium game, is that the entire U.S. soccer project since hosting the World Cup in 1994 has been building to this moment. The getting the domestic league up and running, to keep it alive, to get it thriving, to knocking down stereotypes of American soccer players abroad so that these guys get opportunities, so that it's not weird that an American maybe starting at Chelsea, maybe starting at AC Milan, maybe starting at large French, Spanish, German teams, that is a commonality in this country, that we have a robust pipeline of coaches and academies that are getting youngsters trained up, and that the coaching program and the national program, I should say, is attractive enough to actually go out and recruit a sort of superstar manager candidate to come into the program, and to win over dual nationals that in the past was difficult. Looking at you, Florian Balogun, who I think was eligible for something like 45 countries on planet Earth. Every time I look at that eligibility list, there's one more country I forget he was also eligible for. All of this has been building to this moment, and the Landon Donovan goal in 2010, the 2014 World Cup that so many people fell in love with, the heartbreak of 2018, the anointing of the golden generation in 2022. It's all been building to these games, and to not only rise to meet the moment, but to meet the moment in a calm, cool, collected manner. It was not a scramble defense. It was not a smash and grab. I mean, I'm thinking back to the last time the U.S. played Belgium in the World Cup, 2014. A lot of people have fond memories of that.
12.
Tim Howard stands on his head, sets the record for most saves in a World Cup match. It comes down to the Wondolowski miss, which if you go back and watch, it's not as bad as you felt in the moment. I promise you. I understand people don't want to go back and watch it. Not as bad. However, you feel it.
Bad.
You feel that pain. But getting that goal, and had that been the winner, it would have been very much against the run of play. That would have been a team that absolutely did not deserve to advance. And I think about where we are now, where there's a quiet confidence going into this game, despite the friendly a couple of months ago. I'm not putting a lot of stock into that.
None.
And especially the way Belgium has been playing in this tournament so far, you have to feel pretty confident about it. Everything is leading to this, where the United States has to win. They have laid the groundwork for a win, and a loss here, I think, is pretty detrimental to the program. And I mean, all of U.S. soccer at large. It's a bad mark for USL. It's a bad mark for college soccer. It's a bad mark for MLS. And obviously it's a bad mark for the national program. And I think they need to win. And I hope that the expectations are that high around the program. And I think they are, though. But Chief, I don't know, where do you stand on expectations and pressure for this game?
It's interesting, because I was about to ask you the same question. I was about to say, what is a loss more devastating than a win is good, or is a win better than like that's sort of the internal debate I'm having, because it feels like a win on Monday is the biggest moment in the history of the U.S. men's national team. A loss on Monday feels like one of the worst things that could happen in the history of the U.S. men's national team. To have all this momentum and to have everybody behind you on your home soil.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know that like it is such a, like, it would be one thing like if it was a game that they're supposed to win. Right. That they're absolutely supposed to win. That it's like, oh my God, like how could you lose to Trinidad and Tobago? This is gonna be a tough game.
Yeah.
But like it feels like the stakes are just so massive.
Yeah.
And it's why it does feel like everything has been building to this moment. And specifically with this point too, is that this is the moment and this is the reason why you have a manager like Mauricio Pochettino.
Yeah.
It's because Greg Berhalter has no idea what this moment is like. Greg Berhalter has never had a moment like this. God love him. Bruce Arena has never had a moment like this. Klinsmann maybe has been a part of stuff like this, but like this is for the United States that without hyperbole, this is their Champions League final. This is their FA Cup final. This is you're not going to win the World Cup by winning this game, but you're going to make this a successful World Cup that this federation and this team and this country has been building towards since they were selected to host. Because it's funny, there was a world that we were looking at 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago, where there's a worry that this team shows up and gets dumped out of the group stage because of how inconsistent things looked. I mean, those last couple matches with Berhalter, you're thinking, oh my God, they've got 2 years to figure this out, or they're going to squander the biggest opportunity for the sport and for the program and for the future of the effort, because they've screwed this all up. And the 360 to or the 180 to where we are right, the 180 to where we are right now, unreal. And a large part of that is because they brought in a manager who understands the idea of, look, the type of pressure that this is the same type of pressure you face in the Premier League or playing in Champions League. Yeah. It's hard to replicate that. Yeah. And I do think that like this moment was purpose built for what Pochettino brings to the team, I think.
I'd agree with that. We've also been lucky enough to have a lot of these players have those moments in those biggest games as well at the club level, which this is where that entire project pays dividends. And to get back to your question, Chief, I do think the reward is larger than the punishment, as it were. I think winning will be a greater boon than losing will be. It may also depend on the quality loss. I think a loss in penalties will do a lot of good versus getting beat 4-0. Could take the program backwards a little bit. But I do think a win here. I mean, the last game against Bosnia was already the number one most watched soccer program in U.S. history. I think just like flat out, and no reason to think this wouldn't be bigger.
It'll absolutely be bigger.
Right.
Monday Night Football in Seattle. Yeah, it's going to be bigger.
It's kind of the prime perfect time as well. Yeah. Like it doesn't get better. Belgium will be, it'll have enough names that your casual soccer fans will recognize from around Europe, from around especially the Premier League. I do think that there's so much to be gained here that U.S. soccer needs. Like it needs this to justify everything that it's done up to this point. And a win here really gets you to start believing in how many games are left before a trophy to race and who's exactly in your way. And you start doing the math and you think, well, maybe, just maybe.
Right. Let's talk about this Belgian team a little, because it is so funny. Like, the script writers could not have done this up better. That this was sort of, if you're of any age in this country to remember like past World Cups, I would say that that 2014 World Cup, what was it, 12 years ago, 2014? Yeah. That 2014 World Cup is kind of like a flashbulb memory for most soccer fans in this country. I mean, if you go back to South Korea, we won a knockout stage game with Mexico. I mean, you got to be pretty old to remember that. I remember it because I am pretty old. But for most people in this country that are the prime age of soccer fans in this country, and I'm talking like you're in your late 20s, early 30s, you're the type of people that are in the Bailey, if you're in FC Cincinnati, or you're in the Timbers Army, or you're fighting and winning in Seattle or whatever it is. If that's you, then that 2014 game probably sits pretty heavy in your mind. And that Chris Wondolowski miss that you were talking about sits pretty heavy in your mind. That what was it, 15 save performance or 16 save performance from Tim Howard sits heavy in your mind. There's a lot of the same players on this Belgium team. I mean, Romelu Lukaku still on this team. Kevin De Bruyne still on this team. Thibaut Courtois still on this team. I was looking at the lineup the last time that these two teams played, just to try and see who isn't still around. And it's a who's who of guys where it's like, God, I hated that guy. Fellaini from Manchester United with his giant, stupid hair.
Yep.
And awful, fouling. Vincent Kompany, hated him. Hated him. I'm a Chelsea man, so Eden Hazard, you can never say a bad word about him. He was awesome too. But yeah, like,
was Axel Witsel still on that team?
Axel Witsel was absolutely still on that team. Yes.
He's back this time around as well.
Yeah. So it's a lot of the same teams. And that's kind of been, if you've watched Belgium during this tournament, what you have seen from Belgium, I think, is that they are a team where you can very much see the mileage on the tires with a lot of these players. There's still a lot of quality on the field. Like, they're still capable of punishing you if you turn the ball over poorly, or if you let them use the physical tools that they have. Lukaku can still muscle his way to a goal. We saw that in the first match that he subbed onto. But in a weird sort of way, I said this about when we played Australia. We were playing sort of a mirror version of what the U.S. national team used to look like, where it's we're gonna out physical, we're gonna outrun you, we're going to just out grit you to a win. Yeah. So they were playing sort of their Ghost of Christmas Past. With this game, they're playing their Ghost of Christmas Future, which is a Belgian team that was part of a golden generation that did not live up to the promise. In a lot of ways, this is kind of like if you're Christian Pulisic or you're Weston McKennie or you're Tyler Adams, or you're part of this group that was called the Golden Generation. You're looking at another team where they didn't get the job done, and now they're coming back in their 30s and continuing to try to give it another go, to sort of diminishing returns with each potential World Cup. So I find this matchup as a whole incredibly fascinating.
The narratives are off the charts, and I'm glad you brought up the sort of golden generation in ascendancy and golden generation in decline, because I do think it's a fascinating parallel of, unheralded soccer countries with, their supporters will absolutely sing the praises of the domestic league, but doesn't get a lot of respect elsewhere. They've had a lot of guys go on to play in big leagues. It's a lot of parallels. Just Belgium was, doing it about 10 years earlier. And yet you look at their performance in this tournament and they draw against Egypt. They draw against Iran. Sure, they beat New Zealand 5-1, but New Zealand's the sort of mid-major auto bid that plays in the 16v16 play-in game. It barely counts as a World Cup, dude. We just got to throw a bone to the entire Pacific Ocean. And then, they struggle against Senegal mightily. And it was a little controversial. They even got through that one as well. It's very easily, and maybe should have been, Senegal versus the United States again. So I feel quietly confident going into this game. Chief, where do you sit? Sort of give or take, what are we, 28 hours before?
Nervous?
Yeah.
Just natural nerves. I looked at it last night. Most of the betting sites have the United States as a slight favorite, which is just a wild thing to tell yourself. You want to go back to the Wayback Machine after the Copa and say that, okay, when the World Cup happens 2 years later, the United States will be in the knockouts and a favorite against Belgium in the round of 16.
And on a hell of a run. Yeah.
Yeah. With Dave Portnoy breaking news about red card suspensions being overturned. It's like, no, COVID didn't come back. We're fine. We're somewhat fine. Don't ask us about the reflecting pool, but you'll get to that. You'll learn all about that later.
It's a whole thing.
It got wacky. For a summer. Don't worry about it. So I feel nervous just because this is a team that on paper, given the age, given the player, profiles involved between the two teams, I think the U.S. matches up well with this team. I think that what they want to do, I feel better about our center backs against someone like Lukaku coming in late in the game and bullying someone to a goal. I feel better about that. I feel better about Tyler Adams being able to mark Kevin De Bruyne at his age than I do Kevin De Bruyne's ability to break through our defense. And I think that they're going to have a problem with some of the speed that the United States has, especially from Freeman making runs and Pulisic making runs. Having said that, the problem that this team is going to pose for the United States is that if the United States gets loose with it, which they've shown that they've done a couple of times in this tournament, if the United States gets loose with it, there are players on this Belgian team like Kevin De Bruyne that can punish you for mistakes with their technical ability. And that is what I worry about. I worry that in these knockout stage games where, look, at this level, you are not going to be winning a game 3-0 or even 2-0. We saw this yesterday with France having to grind out a result against Paraguay. Like, these are tough matchups in these games. Teams play incredibly close to the vest. I do worry about a game going scoreless for an extended amount of time, and that it just taking an individual moment of brilliance from an aging superstar that litter this Belgian roster being there for the game-changing moment. And I worry about that from the perspective of a United States fan.
Yeah, the superpower that this U.S. team has had all World Cup has been scoring early. And
getting on teams. Yeah.
Yep. Changing the way these teams are going to approach, where they can't sit back and hope to win it late, or wear you down, super sub, break through, where they change the script, they change the game state so quickly that the other team has to play out of their shell. They did this to Paraguay, and then you can exploit the gaps in between, and they've got talented players that can do that. The defense has held strong so far. Tim Ream's not exactly the youngest man out on that field either. So right. There's certainly reasons to be concerned. However, and
you're seeing that as with Ream specifically, what you are seeing with a lot of these tournament matches is that they're coming faster in the knockout stages. You don't have that week off between games like we were seeing in the group stages. And, if you were watching the game that was played in Kansas City on Friday night, I want to say that was
Ghana, Colombia?
No, Ghana, Colombia was last night. It was, God, I'm going to die. Fact check me on this. But you're seeing a lot of players going down. Ghana, Colombia was like this too. You're seeing more players going down with fatigue related injuries and muscle related injuries. And the heat that we are experiencing in these continental United States right now is not helping in that regard. So, I do worry that there's a lot of mileage on the tires specifically for some of these players. And the one thing that I also worry about in that regard is that for a lot of these teams, or for a lot of these players in the United States, they've run a ton. I think there was a stat that came out that said that this United States team has run more than, at least in the first through the first group stages in the first knockout match, that they've run a greater distance than any other team that they have played so far. And or run it more than any other team playing in the tournament. So they are putting a lot of mileage on their tires, which I don't feel great about, if we're being honest.
Yeah. So, nice thing is Seattle, it shouldn't be blistering hot. It's not one of the indoor stadiums.
It was Ghana, Colombia. It's just been, there's so much soccer lately. I've just been
Oh,
field looked a little rough too.
It's all good. I was on local radio this morning, and I kept referring to the team that the U.S. played as Paraguay instead of Bosnia. So I feel you. It's just
We've all been
it all jumbles up.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see the fitness level of the United States. They've run pretty hard this tournament. Reem has run pretty hard. I don't know if we've got a weather report from Seattle right now, but if it's as hot as it's been around, these parts, Pochettino has been kind of shy on the subs list. I don't think he went to the bench in Bosnia until pretty late.
Yeah.
Especially on defense. They're going to have to be willing, if they get a lead in this game, they're going to have to be willing to make some choices in order to see a close game out, which might force them to rely on their bench just to keep fresh legs going because of how many games and how much this tournament has impacted players. What is taken out of them to play in this kind of humidity.
Yeah. Looks like we got a high of 81. Humidity should be peaking around 50%. That's a UV index.
That's delightful compared to the Midwest of this country right now. Yeah.
UV index 8 out of 11. Air quality, it's showing nice and green and good. It should be fine.
Yeah, apparently they didn't set off 800,000 pounds worth of explosives like they did in DC last night.
You're lost, Seattle.
All right, Kevin. So if the United States wins this game, what player or what is it that's going to bring the United States a victory in this?
Man, it's funny. Before the suspension was suspended, I would have said this is Christian Pulisic's moment to step up. But now I think it has to be Balogun. Through all of this, you've got to deliver. This can't be a game where you lay an egg and you miss a sitter or you miss a penalty late in the game or something like that. Like, this has to be Balogun's game. And I hope that Belgium fans are deeply and generationally upset by FIFA's correct decision to let Flo free.
Let your flow fly.
Who are you looking to Seattle win here?
I think it's got to be the midfield. I think it's got to be Dest, it's got to be Adams, and it's got to be McKinney.
Yeah.
And I think that because where Belgium can tactically hurt you is these are all elite players with elite field vision and elite passing, where the physical skills are in decline, and you've got to be closing out players, not offering them time and space on the ball, because time and space will kill you when you've seen everything in this game. And if you're not forcing them into decisions to physical decisions that their bodies are incapable of doing at this age and at this level of sort of the tournament, you're going to get punished for that. And similarly, if you're turning the ball over in your midfield and giving teams opportunities for quick rushes off the counter press, I think that's going to be a problem as well. So I think this is the game where Weston McKennie has to step up and be a general in the middle of this field. He's been very good in this tournament, quietly very, very good. But this has to be I'm him moment in terms of commanding the midfield and creating space and opportunities for his teammates, while also being able to defend and prevent Belgium from getting into opportunities where the old man game can benefit them. Yeah. God, I'm so excited. Like,
this
I'm
is going to be a
nervous.
stressful watch.
Because the stakes have never been higher for this team. They have never been higher, and this is as far as they've gone since the 1930s. There's a crazy stat too. Pochettino is the winningest coach in United States men's national team history. That's insane. In one, I know it's a bigger tournament, but in one tournament, he has won more World Cup games than Bruce Arena, Jurgen Klinsmann, Bob Bradley. Like, these are guys where we consider them to be like titans. These guys felt like they coached forever. Yeah. And Potts shows up and he's like, what? This is hard.
Just singing John Denver on his way to record after record.
Throwing BP fastballs out for the Seattle Mariners. I don't know. Like
that was cute. That was a fun moment, and I like that. There's some good videos behind the scenes of I think it was Matt Turner teaching him how to hold the ball, how to set yourself.
Get a little wind up. Yeah. It's a thing. It's a thing. Like if you don't if you just follow American sports, watching foreigners try to throw a baseball is hilarious, and you realize that unless you're from a country where they play baseball, the throwing motion for a baseball is so not universal to the human experience.
Well, also, just your favorite pitcher is out this year again for surgery would also be an indication that it's not normal.
Yeah.
I went on a little bit of a rabbit hole trying to find who is the best Argentinian baseball player of all time. And the answer I've come up with is there isn't one. I can't find evidence of an Argentinian ever playing in Major League Baseball or even minor league baseball. So
surely one must exist.
I was probably wrong about the minor league baseball, but man, like nobody's made it to the majors. And I figured they'd been one had to have snuck their way through, but it's tough.
If they win this game, do you throw the bag at Pochettino at this point, or has he already earned throw the bag at him status? Because there were some rumors circulating around last week that they've already approached him about running this for a second World Cup cycle. He's only been on the job for 2 years, so it's not like he's had a full four.
Yeah.
Has he already done enough? Because this game right here that we're in right now, the U.S. has been to this stage before in modern history. We were here in South Korea, and they lost to Germany, I want to say, in South Korea.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you want to look at this, right? So round of 16 knockout round, yes, we were here in 2014 against Belgium. Second knockout stage, yes, then you go to 2002, beat Mexico, play Germany, lose to Germany.
So like we're in the, I consider here to be, we have won a knockout game.
Yeah. Okay.
And advanced to a second knockout game. The United States hasn't won a second knockout game ever. I don't know, 1930. I don't know how big the tournament was then.
Yeah.
I got to look that up.
Let's see, because it was weird. There were like two groups, right? And only a couple of teams.
And like one of the teams got knocked out because Germany invaded their country and they ceased to exist. Like,
yeah. Okay, so there were 4 groups. 3 of the groups had 3 teams. 1 of the groups had 4 teams. And that made a knockout bracket of just 4 teams. The group winners all advanced. The United States advanced out of a group with, let me know if you've heard of these countries, Paraguay and Belgium.
Hello. Dude, this is an old school rivalry. We're talking like...
Yes.
We're talking Notre Dame Navy here. This is going back a ways.
We beat Belgium 3-0 in
God, that would rule.
July 13th, 1930. Chief, the second goal scorer in that game is literally a man named Thomas Flory, who I'm sure went by Flo with some of his friends. So how about that? However, yes, that
no, it was the 1930s. So he probably went by some nickname like, Four Eyes O'Houlihan or some shit like that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But the bracket was only 4 teams. It was Uruguay versus Yugoslavia, where Uruguay won, and we lost to Argentina 6-1. Retroactively, FIFA has awarded us 3rd place. There was not officially a 3rd place game then, but based on goal differential and goals scored out of the group stage, we have been retroactively awarded 3rd place.
See, FIFA's been putting their fingers on the scale for us for going back, 100 years.
Yeah, so we're tight.
So this is the furthest we've been here before. Yeah. The next step will be officially the most the World Cup the United States has ever done at the World Cup. Yeah. So where are you at on Poch?
Look, win this one, and I'm all for throwing the bag. We lose this one, I'll consider it, but I'm not making him the king's ransom. I'll probably make him my first choice, no doubt. I fully understand and expect him to move elsewhere, again, unless he gets a blank check signed, but it's not going to be the end all be all for me. I think that there's enough coaching talent in the world that we'll be fine for the next go round. If he's not interested, win this game, I'm moving heaven and earth to keep him in the program.
Yeah. Did you see the Tom Rinaldi piece that they did on him where they went down and interviewed his parents?
No.
It was really good.
Aww.
It's online. You can find it online, but like,
okay.
His dad is, he was raised on a farm. So his parents are like salt of the earth type people. And his mom is like crying that her son is now like went to America. And she's so proud that he went to the United States and he's coaching in the United States, which like is touching on one hand. But it does make me wonder if like they were like, just Spurs. When are you going to get out of England and go to a real country?
Look, people don't want to hear this. That sentiment is ultimately what MLS has over Europe, where like we know as soccer fans, like, oh yeah, playing in the Bundesliga, playing in Italy is a big deal. But to your mom and dad back home in the little farm community that nobody outside of that community can pronounce, they want to see you do well in America. And they don't care if that's Kansas City or Portland, right. Oregon. They hear USA. They're very proud of you, son.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they may have watched like, whatever it was on, what was the show? Downton Abbey, dubbed into whatever language it was. They may have watched that. They've damn sure watched the Avengers. They've damn sure watched American culture and consumed American culture. Yeah. Leverage the shit out of that.
Oh man.
I am so excited. I am so nervous. I'm so happy for this team. I'm not as happy for like USMNT Twitter because some of the worst people are on that. But I am happy for just like people who are very normal fans of this country and of the soccer team in this country, because this has been win or lose on Monday. This has been a tremendously uniting thing for this country.
Yeah. In
a way that we seldom get, because it's in a way that we're probably not going to get for a while. I mean, God knows what the future holds. I mean, Christ, you go back to the last time this team played Belgium 12 years ago. And you just debrief yourself on what's coming in the next 12 years. A lot of y'all might just choose to, hey, how about that cryogenic freezing chamber that Walt Disney had? Can I just freeze myself and skip all this shit? They're removing the disk drive from PlayStation. How dare they?
Grand Theft Auto 6 costs how much?
Yeah, they're only up to 6. What's taking so long?
Yeah, you used to get one of these a year.
Right. Is the bowling still in? Do I still have to go bowling with Roman? But like, there's not a lot left in this country that is monoculture like this, that brings us all together, that everyone sort of hops on and they get into. Like even the U.S. Olympic hockey team, like everyone was into that, but not to this level.
Yeah.
Not this much. And if this happens again in 4 years at the World Cup, it'll be cool. But these games will be played at weird times. Not weird, but it'll be on a 6-hour time difference, 7-hour time difference with with Europe. So you're not going to get everyone together experiencing this. Like these games, you might have to stay up till, weird times or wake up at weird times to watch them, which, we all do because we're soccer fans. We're used to that. But you're not going to get your buddy in the next cubicle down that works in accounting to ask you how the game was. They're not going to be back into this. They might be. That'd be great for the sport, but it's happening in our country on our home soil at times we can all watch and everybody's into it. And I think that win or lose, I hope that what everybody does tomorrow is they remember how cool of an experience this was, that we all got together for something. It just doesn't happen as much anymore.
Oh, and that's such an important point, Chief. And I would just emphasize that to anybody and everybody listening. Watch with as many people as you can. This is not a solo activity. Don't watch on a phone. Okay, go to a bar. If you don't drink, that's fine. Bars, get this: they sell soda, they sell non-alcoholic drinks. Like you got options. Okay, if you've got a public square that's doing this, great. If it's a Buffalo Wild Wings, which is where I ended up watching Cape Verde, Argentina, the game's on everywhere. It's a great experience, and people are into it. Okay, so like if you can, please, by all means, get out and watch this in public. These are communal moments. The games feel so much better in a group of people, and you will not be disappointed. So,
amen to that.
Yeah. Should we talk about a little bit more of this tournament and get us out of here?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, Chief, before we get out of here, I do want to say that I've been told, and if we get it, I will drop it in shortly after this. We have a report of what it is like on the ground in the United States as a Canadian, with the Canadians having been kicked out of the World Cup by Morocco. FC Cincinnati's own and friend of the pod, Carter Chapley, has agreed to send us a recap of his emotional state on this one. Carter, if you have a tape for us, I will play it now. Carter, if you don't have a tape for us, everybody will know you let us down.
No way, eh? Fuck Columbus.
The Cincy Postcast is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out online at thepostcincy.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter and Blue Sky, though, you'll find we're a little more active than the other places. We're also on YouTube, where you can listen to this episode if you aren't listening to it already. We are also putting up video content semi-regularly, including the Away Days series. We want to give a huge thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers for providing the music for this episode. They are a lovely band, and you can find more information out about them in the description of this episode. And if you happen to enjoy what you just heard, can I please ask that you like us, that you rate us on whatever app you're listening to, and maybe more importantly than all of that, share this episode with a friend. When it comes up at work, you're talking about FC Cincinnati, I say, hey, I listened to an FC Cincinnati podcast. I think you guys will like it. It would really, really help us out. Nothing helps a podcast travel more than a good recommendation from a friend, family member. That would be awesome. When it comes to the sorting algorithms that control our lives, a 5-star review would be much appreciated. Also, leaving a sort of written review weirdly does more than that. That's how the algorithms work. So maybe say a nice or a mean thing, whatever. Just as long as you give us 5 stars, that'll really, really, really help us out. And if you are looking for more MLS content, check out our other podcast, The World's Gam. Again, a link will be in the description of this episode. That is where we touch on league-wide storylines and news, and we talk about other games and a couple other teams in there as well. I think you will enjoy it if you are just dipping your toes into Major League Soccer. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors, a even bigger thank you to all of our patrons over at Patreon, but maybe most importantly, thank you for listening to this episode.